everybody, welcome. It's me, John, and it's been a while, but I'm here for a video talking about the new recent news for a brand new Avatar The Last Airbender animated series. Now, this news broke about 2 days ago. Now, I knew creators of Avatar The Last Airbender and also Korra, The Legend of Korra. They have been working on behind the scenes, like more stuff within that world of Avatar, the Last Airbender. I heard, I think it was last year, that there was plans for an animated series where there's another one coming out as well, which is supposed to be the next Avatar after both Aang and Korra. So it's actually going to be a totally different characters, and it's the next Avatar after those two. There is another animated series, but it's separate, different setting. It's at a different time, in a different time zone and everything compared to those two, but it's supposed to be the next Avatar. I think there's plans as well for a prequel series that is going to kind of follow one of the predecessor Avatars as well. So there's a lot in the pipeline for this universe. However, this video in question is of me talking about the new Legend of Aang, I believe it's called. Here's the picture, a picture that was released. So if anyone's interested in reading the article that this picture was represented as or shared on, link is in the description below the video to the full article so you can read it in your own time. But yeah, so we're getting a new full animated series that is basically, from what I can gather, I think this animated series is going to be the bridge gap. This is back when Avatar The Last Airbender, the original Avatar The Last Airbender, I'm not going to say what happens just in case anyone has yet to see it or watch it or finish it. After the events of what occurs at the end of Avatar The Last Airbender and of that original series, there was originally going to be a continuation of a furthermore couple more seasons. We only got the main book stories, so like book 1, book 2, book 3, whatever you. It was supposed to continue for at least another season or two on top of what happens after the events. And you was going to see, obviously, in the original series, you see Aang and all the other characters as kids. Then you was going to finally get a little bit of a time gap of them as adults, and then up to the point of, and then it was just going to move forward with something else. So what actually happened originally is, for some reason, the powers that be at Nickelodeon or Paramount or whoever that produced the series, they did not want them to continue. Basically, for some reason, the decision was made that that run of the original Avatar The Last Airbender was going to finish at that point, and that was it. So the creators moved on, and they produced and developed Legend of Korra. Legend of Korra divided fans back when it first aired or started coming out. I personally I did enjoy Korra. However, it is a massively different series in comparison to Avatar The Last Airbender with Aang. And then you've got the Legend of Korra, which they are both great series, but the way that they run, the way that they are, the way that the world and everything, the way that it comes over, it has a different feel, has a different tempo. Korra has a totally different feeling compared to Avatar The Last Airbender. And sometimes that transition difference, a lot of fans didn't really like it. There was a bit of a divide back then. However, I really enjoyed both shows. I thought they were really well put together. However, a lot of fans as well didn't really like Korra as well, because essentially, apparently, I have yet to finish Korra. I need to finish it because from what I can gather, shit happens, and apparently the Avatar Korra essentially kind of makes a lot of problems and a lot of mistakes. And it seems like she leaves the world in a bit of a bad state, apparently. I don't know how, I don't know, but I need to finish it. I need to find out what happens. But this series that I'm talking about in this video is, I believe, I could be completely wrong, but this could be the Bridge Gap episodes or the Bridge Gap seasons that was originally supposed to happen after the events of Avatar The Last Airbender. So what occurs and what happens at the end, it was supposed to carry on for at least another 2 or 3 seasons. And you was going to get the full arc of Avatar Aang, of him as a child, him becoming the Avatar, him in the original show mastering all the elements and mastering water, air, fire, and so on, and basically being the one that can wield all of them. And you have that whole arc, the original series of him mastering the different elements and becoming the Avatar. The Bridge Gap season, the Bridge Gap episodes was basically just going to be of them as adults, a bit older, and this was actually going to be up to the point of where you find out in Legend of Korra, Aang does pass away. He passes away, and all the other characters are much older. So there's like, I don't know if it's something like 100 years or something like that. There's a massive age gap, a time gap between the two series, and so this is possibly going to be like the proper conclusion for Aang, and what actually happens up to the point of him passing away, and when Korra comes into the frame, and Korra becoming the predecessor of Aang and becoming the next Avatar. I personally think this is fantastic that we are finally going to get the full arc of Avatar Aang. We're going to finally get him as an adult, and we're finally going to get the proper conclusion to what should have been back with the original Avatar The Last Airbender series. And it's probably going to make things a little bit more easier to understand. I just hope so, because because obviously we've also got the live action stuff as well that's still going on. So they're doing the live action Avatar The Last Airbender. So it'd be interesting to see if they develop this into the story as well. So once they're doing the original Avatar The Last Airbender, adapting that into live action, and then it'd be interesting to see if the live action does actually succeed and carries forward like they plan to. I'm wondering if they're also going to adapt him as an adult as well into the story, so we get a live action adaptation of the full story as well as, I don't know, but there is a lot in the pipeline for the universe of the Avatar The Last Airbender, and there's, like I said, there's meant to be like a series that's supposed to follow. Is it Koshi? Is it Koshi, the character's name? I do apologise. In the editing process, I will put it at the bottom of the screen. But there has been want for like prequel miniseries that is based on the predecessor avatars to Aang, because there is some really interesting characters like that, like the ancestor avatars. And there is one in particular. She is actually one of the I believe she's from the warriors that have like the face paint. They look like, they look like a geisha, based on like geisha warriors. But there's one in particular that apparently they want to do a series about her, who is meant to be the Avatar before Aang, I believe, or one of the originals from way back when. So apparently there is in the pipeline, they want to kind of really flash out the world and the setting, and I want to do some like series based upon them avatars, as well as really like properly flush out the story of Aang. And then there's also supposed to be another series that is supposed to be following a different avatar, a different time zone, that is supposed to kind of be, I think it's, yeah. So yeah, there's at least in the pipeline, in the planning stages, there's some stuff happening, and then we're finally going to get we're finally getting this series for Aang as an adult, which is apparently, I believe, is meant to be the bridge gap seasons. And then we are actually going to be getting a series that is meant to follow after Legend Avatar Korra. And then we're supposed to be, so we're supposed to be getting a lot of stuff that is apparently in the pipeline. So I'm really, really, really intrigued. I'm looking forward to it. I've been waiting for them to finally give us the proper conclusion to Aang's arc, because I feel they did him dirty with introducing Korra and killing him off. I'm not really. They did sort of give us. They did a little bit of like back tense, like past tense sequences. So it kind of gave us an idea of what happened to some of the original characters, why Aang is no longer alive. And then you got Katara and everyone else. They are much, much older, and something like 100 years in the future or something like that. It's something crazy of how many years have passed between the events of the end of Avatar and when you're watching Korra. So yeah, I'm hoping this is going to be. I really hope it's not going to be one of these. I really hope it's going to be multiple seasons, because to really flush out that time gap, because there is quite a significant time. There's quite a significant amount of time between the events of the end of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and the beginning of Korra. There is quite a significant time gap there, so there is a lot of time frame for them to really. Well, there's a fair bit of time frame for them to really kind of like flush him out, and up to the point of him, unfortunately, does pass away, and then we find out. And then probably it leads into Korra coming into the frame. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end. But I'm very happy that we are finally going to get at least an extra season or two, or maybe 3, I don't know. But I'm happy we're finally going to get the Bridge Gap seasons, the Bridge Gap episodes of Aang as an adult, and all the other characters as adults. And finally going to get some, bring Aang back. I'm happy to see Aang back. And all that, and all the other characters, and it's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to it, because Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is a phenomenal series. It really is a phenomenal series. It was really well put together. The voice acting was incredible, and it was one of those shows that was. It defined a generation. It really did, because it came out at a certain point where. A lot of people kind of like, it really did define that point in time. It was like there was nothing quite like Avatar The Last Airbender. Obviously they were taking nuances from Japanese animation as well as Western animation, so there was a lot of references of like obviously Chinese, and different elements, different nationalities were at play that brought that series together, because you can see there's different nationalities, there's different tribes, all the characters are from different tribes and different nationalities, and so on and so forth, like throughout the series. So it really took nuances from different cultures and different time zones, and back in the past and all that. And then you've got like the monks as well, with like obviously Avatar Aang being of course from the Wind Temple, and obviously living with a load of monks. And then you've got the Water Tribe, and then you've got the Fire Nation, and Earth, and all that kind of stuff. So you've got different tribes and different factions, and so I'm really looking forward to this series. It'd be great to see Aang and all his friends back again, and him as an adult, and finally get a proper conclusion to his story. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the future brings, and if we actually do get a prequel series that follows the predecessor avatars, like the older avatars, that'll be really cool as well. But anyway, so thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. sit and I'll be back very, very soon with more videos. But I do apologise for the lack of videos. I've just been burnt out and of the whole reviewing side of it, as I've said. But, I'm just having a bit of a rest. But I wanted to make a video talking about this because it is something that really does interest me. And I no doubt it will interest a lot of other people as well. But for bye-bye from me and Soxypuss. But Soxypuss... Oh, she's asleep. Anyway, bye-bye.